Hello and welcome to the Film Angle, doing another short film interview. What's gotten into us, Chris?
Well, you're getting all the contacts, Alex. You've gone full Hollywood.
I know. Our next short film director, Blake Rice, he called us from Hollywood, so we made it, bud. We made it.
That we did, Alex.
Even though we want to showcase short films in whatever this little series is that we're doing, it is worth saying that unfortunately you can't actually see the short film in the UK yet. But I mean, if you are part of the festival run, then you may have seen it because this has had quite the extensive festival run. It's called T, and it was the only US and English language film to premiere at the
Mm.
Cannes Film Festival this year. We'll give you a general sense of what the short film is before we get into the interview, just so you can understand some of those elements. But I think it's fair to say that it's more of a conversation about the whole kind of filmmaking process, the festival circuit, and kind of where our creativity comes from. Would you say it was fair to say, Chris?
Oh yeah, of course. And like Blake brings so much, energy, as I'm sure everybody will be hearing in a minute. So yeah, he's got so much enthusiasm about filmmaking, and yeah, talking about the film and the filmmaking process as well as broader themes was a lot of fun.
Definitely, definitely. Chris, do you want to do the honors and read out the synopsis of the short film?
So yeah, of course, written and directed by Blake Rice. T centers around a young man played by Michael Gandolfini, who, while rehearsing to ask out the girl of his dreams, well, he gets stung by a hornet and causes an allergic reaction, and the employee, the girl of his dreams, has to save his life. But of course, it's about so much more than that, and Blake Rice is here to tell us all about it.
Absolutely. So I think probably best just to jump in. We had a quick chat with Blake before we hit the record, just to make sure everything was going, and we made a few jokes about our locations. Hence why there is a
There is a
random.
callback.
There is a callback. There's a random dig at Gunners Lake from Chris, and if you're baffled as to why, it's because we were all talking about where we were recording from before the interview started. But we'll let you enjoy it. I think it's a really interesting conversation, and like you said, Blake is a really really funny, really lovely guy, and brought a lot of energy to the conversation. So I hope you guys enjoy. We enjoyed it.
Absolutely. So, welcome to the show, Blake Rice. To get things started, it would be great to know a little bit more about yourself. What made you decide to pursue a career in filmmaking to start off with?
From the very jump. Well, thanks for having me on. Pumped to
Oh,
be
yeah, yeah.
here. What started the film career? I was bad in school. I was bad at the other things, and
You're in good company.
when I was 15, my parents got me a little Sony Handycam, and I just was making videos on the weekends with my buddies. We were kicking each other in the crotches and setting up scarecrows in the street and running them over with cars, and that was how we spent our time. And then that quickly shifted to me lobbying with teachers. Could I do a video project instead of taking the test, because I was not a great student.
Okay.
Some of them let me, and then I started falling in love with it and studied it in school, and the rest is history, man. I'm still making kick in the crotch videos, so it just, the cameras got heavier, but
So
Oh,
you inherently have Homer Simpson humor.
I hope to advance, but no, it's still right there.
It's
And that's
top. It's top tier.
100%. But yeah, that's how I started, and I've always loved it. I love the, not only like I do straight up love the leadership of directing. I do love the
Mhm.
command of that, and I love the trials and tribulations of it. Like I like the hot seat, and I like the moving target, and I like the challenge of film. It's hard as hell, and it's hard to get a
Mm.
project right, and you got to fail a million times, but that's what keeps me interested and addicted and a psycho about it. So that's why we're here.
when you when you were using your Handycam
Yeah.
and kind of creating all these videos, I have kind of a similar kind of nostalgia for that as well. I had one as
Uh-huh.
well. I was doing holiday videos with my family,
Yep.
I was like singing to songs. You'd flip the screen around, you'd see yourself, all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. I was like
Mm-hmm.
original TikTok with an audience of
Of
one.
course.
But then, like, how did you transition then into kind of like, actually, I want to tell a story? Were you making short films with your friends, or was that something that came later?
Great question. I was not in high school. In high school, I was kind of doing like parody videos and editing them in Windows Movie Maker. It's like SNL's Lonely Island was kind of blowing up at that
Yeah.
point. So I was
Yeah.
trying to do like parody videos. And it wasn't till the second college I went to, Rowan University in New Jersey, that I started a sketch comedy show, like a digital short sketch comedy show that I was directing, acting, and writing in. And we would do like digital shorts, like Chappelle Show, really. And we put some of online. Some went kind of viral. And we got a little bit of a following, and that's how I got my first acting agent up in New York. And then I moved to New York. I started doing stand up, but I was always writing and directing like one larger scale short film a year and spending and losing all my money on it. And then slowly but surely, they just got a little less shitty every time, and led me to where I am now.
Nice. So you've always had like a big interest in comedy then? Like comedy has been the kind of, has that been the main genre, would you say?
I think it's what came naturally first, but it's definitely not what I'm aiming at all the time, especially now.
Yeah.
I like kind of hitting every box. And if you had a chance to check out T, it's like I just think life reflects it all. And so there's people laugh at a funeral when they're uncomfortable. Like there is real pain in life, there's real heartache, there's real love, and there's real comedy, and there's real action.
Yeah.
And the kind of rabbit I'm chasing creatively is like, can we pull off, which is hard as shit, can we pull off checking all those boxes? And I'm really interested in aiming for that. Do I think I've done it? No. But am I trying to get close? Yes.
Well, I don't know how much you're happy for us to talk sort of in detail about the film. Are
Oh,
you
let it rip. Let it
comfortable with
rip.
that?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what you just said kind of rings true with your experience watching it, because at the very beginning, when we're introduced to our main character, it feels like we don't really know what footing we're on to begin with. It's sort of this sort of, he's self-recording and building up the courage, obviously, to speak to the girl that he, once he's madly falling in love with. And then suddenly, like, the humor just kind of like introduces itself, circumstantially later on. And there is that sort of like naturalistic, like off-footedness that you kind of get, like it catches you by surprise. So, yeah, I think you kind of achieved that there, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
It comes as a product of the situation rather than like this is a comedy.
Yeah. And that was like everything I write usually starts zany as hell. Like the script for T, you would read and you'd be like, oh, this is a charades shtick slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And then I'm constantly through shooting and through post shoving it to the ground and trying to really rip that hardcore out. And strategically in the edit for T, there are specific moments where like we need to bridge this gap because we're going to kind of change hats quickly. Like that moment when they start the Heimlich and it goes into slow motion, it's this really lovey love song that is like in this really aggressive, moment of her trying to give him the Heimlich, which is not the right move to do. That's kind of a bridge, being like, okay, I'm okay with a laugh that's kind of like, am I supposed to laugh? Right? Because the next stuff right after is hard charades, hard jokes, comedy. And so like, it's been really fun on this one to kind of learn and see what kind of lands with supporting kind of those changing of the levers.
So I understand that the film is based on a monologue by Isaac Lee. Now I haven't read the monologue myself. Is the monologue itself like comedic in nature, or was there something in that kind of inspired you to branch out into comedy?
It wasn't like laugh out loud. Not
Yeah.
like laugh out loud. I just thought the character was super interesting and I could see a world there. And I loved, and I don't even know if the intent of the original monologue wasn't to tell a love story at all. But I just saw so much bravery in it. And my idea of like, it spins out and it's for this girl who's actually exists and blah, blah, blah. I just thought there's something so admirable at someone who the world is kicking the shit out of, that no matter what, especially in the 90s and especially at that age, is rehearsing the toughest thing possible. There's some bravery to that I think people could get behind. so I love the reset there. I love him going at it. I also I think it's really fun that he practices saying taking the no, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm,
which to me it's not. I don't think this is a to me T and his character is not a totally romantic charged play. He's not being like, I think maybe 40% of it is like, this is a girl with dreams, but he can't even fathom her saying yes to this. His biggest victory is probably having a conversation. He longs human connection more than he
mm,
longs for a girlfriend. Like,
Mm.
I think there's such more base core needs that he's trying to fix and probably isn't even that aware to him, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, like spinning off from the monologue, like it was such a great performance and read from Isaac on that I remember a while ago I was like, hey, can we I think there's something here. Which is a real fun way to start a story. And I just think, there's having the inability to communicate with someone and then literally stripping their form of communication away is some fun devices for a short.
definitely. So the adaptation process going in, it was very much just like I'm taking the core of this performance of this monologue, and then I'm injecting my own kind of world into it.
Mhm.
Like, was it set in the '90s? The monologue itself
No.
was, and so you've brought more of
mm.
yourself to this kind of, or like your kind of ideas
Yeah,
and things
totally.
you want to explore.
Yeah, that set it in the 90s. Put it in New Jersey. Like, to me, that's very New Jersey, very familiar space to me. Back of a strip mall, that late summer, early fall, where everyone's left. It's kind of like the stragglers doing not bigger and badder things with their lives are still in town. Early 90s to me too, especially as a dude, like where I grew, like you have this pressure to know where it's coming from to fit in and to fit into the social pipeline and like if you don't have a girlfriend you're a nobody and if you don't leave your town you're a nobody, and to face all of that um just felt relatable. And as a filmmaker I'm trying to grow, and I've made all these other projects that I didn't really have command. I didn't really know what the hell I was talking about. I didn't understand every inch of these places. So a goal of mine for T was to shrink down. I know this area. I know this feeling. I've seen 8,000 of these locations, right? So
Mhm,
to me,
yeah.
what I think is kind of translating there is for the first time I wasn't ahead of my skis, and I shrunk down the hard stuff and really played to my strengths,
I
which now I'm
think
gonna try to do at a higher level.
Yeah, yeah. I think you did a really good job because, like, I've not been to '90s New Jersey other than
Mhm.
through,
Have you
the
not?
form of film, and or like films in the '90s set in the States. It kind of gave me this very kind of nostalgic feeling for that kind of Generation X indie filmmaking that was going on in the '90s. Like,
Mm,
those characters, I felt like I knew them. Like,
thanks.
you have a very short space of time to kind of get an understanding of who they are, and you do a very good job. And I was just wondering, was obviously the location is inspired by your own life
Mhm.
and the feeling there, but there was definitely, for me, I was like, this has been inspired definitely by some films that I've seen as well, right? Like, were you inspired by those kind of indie films that you saw coming out?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, in a couple different ways. Just straight backdrop wise, we couldn't shy away from Clerks. You know,
Mm,
if you
Yeah.
know those, like very Jersey, very back of a convenience store. That was a good like kind of comp, just like for the physical location for us. For the tone to me, like I love an Aronofsky, I love a David O. Russell. To me,
Mm.
this is kind of that mashed with a little Taika Waititi in there,
Okay.
but all of it aiming for clicking those different genres, but being able to pull them off and being able to pull the heart chords at the end of it and stick that landing. So comps like story wise, inspiration wise, I think I took a bits and pieces from kind of all those directors that I love, but as again, it kind of just took shape into its own thing.
And even though that identity that you have for New Jersey and those strip malls, even though that's something that's kind of personal to you and your filmmaking process, like even across here, across the pond,
Mm,
those sort of locations are still kind of familiar to us. Kind of like
mm,
riffing on what Alex kind of mentioned about there's a nostalgic glow to the film. So like one thing, kind of living in my mind rent free after watching the film is just the color, the vibrancy of the film. Whenever like I recollect summers as a kid or a teenager, it
mm,
doesn't necessarily have to even be summer. But we all, for some reason, only associate those memories of like sunshine and
Oh, that's
hot
so
days
cool.
and, you know,
That's
not
a
a
great
cloud in
call.
the sky. Yeah, but it's like we're almost trying to preserve how perfect those moments felt to us in that period of our lives. So is this something that you think of, like when you're making a come of age story? Like, do you kind of like have
Phew.
those memories triggered, the sun-kissed memories?
Great question. It was a target for me on this one to crank up the romanticism on it, you know, especially towards
Mhm.
the end, and especially like with the score and with the color and with the feel. You're spot on for what I was aiming for. Um, and it's like it's also because the story suspends your belief. Like, you know, like could she have gotten would these other people have not been there and Aphrodite, you know, like I'm really asking the audience to kind of like abandon a lot of common sense on it. But because
Mhm.
we over romanticize some other departments and really kind of leaned into the A stuff, and confidently so, I think we kind of pull it off. And
Yeah.
to your point, like great catch, like especially that magic hour look. It's so lens flare, it's so magic hour because we want to kind of stick in one of those core nostalgic kind of memories. This is a life or death situation, but both of them take away very different things. I think Nick
Yeah.
he like can breathe and he's alive in the world again, and he did conquer his fear and did all this thing with Olivia. But I think the Tierney character really saw a different side of herself. And kind of that isolated
Mm.
moment she has at the end is like, oh wow, she can deliver on stuff, and she isn't a fuck up in life, and look what she can do. She can accomplish insane things. And when you think about those important moments in your life that kind of made you who you were, I like to think that one of those moments for her was this day. So that over
That's nice.
romanticizing it was a total. You're right on, which is very perceptive.
See,
Or it's
we all
comforting
kind
to
of
me
do
being
that.
like, damn, something worked.
I guess we all do that. Like, I remember talking to my dad a couple of years ago and said, "Oh, do you remember that Christmas where it was like really snowy and everybody was out the front of our street building snowmen?" He's like, "No, you just remember it was snowing. It wasn't actually snowing." I'm like, "What?" But that's that sort of
You're
childish
like, no, it
wonder.
was
Like you just like,
perfect. It was perfect. Yeah.
yeah, it was perfect in your mind, but yeah. Sometimes you just kind of like delve in and let yourself go to the fantasy a little bit.
Mhm. I find that it's very cool. I feel like English, Irish audiences really love the romantic side of it. And European audiences in general really, really feel that. I wonder if do you think that's because it feels like, like nostalgic
Because we don't
American
have the sun in
cinema?
the UK. That's why.
That's
It's
incredible.
a pipe dream.
That's incredible. Um, hey, I might be working with something in the UK, so I'll bring some
You can come.
sun.
You can come back to your hometown of Gunners Lake.
Of Gunners Lake, of course. And I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant in Gunners Lake, which is
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go.
oh
It's called the. It's called the. Have you ever seen American Werewolf in London?
yes,
You know the Slaughtered Lamb pub at the very
yeah,
beginning where they all
yeah,
look at
yeah.
him as he comes in the door.
Is it that
It's
pub?
it's not that pub, but it's something pretty similar.
What's it called? I bet you the name is
Uh,
perfect.
I mean, well, it's
We do,
Cornwall. So
yeah,
what do you
we
do?
do pub names well.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You associate Cornwall with the birth of piracy, you know. So the pub is called the Buccaneer.
Yeah, the
So
Buccaneer, incredible
yeah,
name. I do
I'm
not
still
have
too
a.
scared to walk in it.
We're gonna bridge that when I come over. We're bridging it. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, no, it's so cool how, and especially because of Can and everything, I got, we've been able to show it to a lot more audiences than I'm used to, and it's fascinating to see what stuff stands out. And when we premiered, I never felt like, oh, this everyone's been like, this is really like a classic American cinema feel, a romanticized romantic American movie making. And I never made it with that. I don't know. I just never thought of it. I just made what I had inside me, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was probably what I was trying to like think about. I probably didn't articulate it particularly well, but it was like you have carved yourself your own story within like a slice of what does feel familiar to us.
Mm.
I don't know if there's a question in that, but
Don't
it
even.
is interesting to wonder how, how different audiences react to it. how have you found American audiences reacting to it on the festival circuit in regards to like how maybe it played differently at Cannes?
Getting a great reception overall. We sometimes get put in drama categories more. It gets put in drama categories more than comedies, which I love.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just find it plays better. We play, and this is probably just because of Cannes. We'll play in international blocks a lot in U.S. festivals, which is interesting. And for a while, I didn't screen at a festival with other English-speaking films, and I think that's less to do with the feel of T and more just with the Cannes hype.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it kind of like, so it's I love festivals struggling for where to place it genre wise.
I think
That
the best films aren't like have a lot of humor in them. They don't
mm,
have to necessarily be branded a comedy, and
mm,
it's there's two sides to that because obviously comedy does get a bad rap sometimes for
Yeah.
some reason, but yet some of the best drama films are like hilariously funny and just are
yeah,
really good at creating comedic moments. And I think there is a real talent to that. So I'm glad it isn't just showing in comedy festivals because I do think it is more than that. But yeah, I mean, it is funny. It's a very funny
well,
film.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, guys. It's been a wild run, and like it's still going and still cooking, and doing festivals, still festivals to hear from, still doing festivals, and it's crazy what a short film can do, really.
Am I right in thinking you were the only American short film premiering at Cannes this year? Is that
Yeah,
right?
we were the only one from the US and the only one in English too.
Wow.
Um,
Oh wow!
so it
Did you
was
go to Cannes?
I did, yeah. It was the
Nice.
craziest time of my life. I need therapy for like good shit, like it it was so cool, and like I'm sure you're familiar with, like I was chipping away at this crazy business and trying to find my way through the basement and getting told no by 1,000 festivals by a couple projects I poured all my wallet and soul into every year. And then overnight, when I get that news, a, it changed my whole day to day. It changed, what I'm gonna be doing next. Because of that festival, I get introduced as a director for the first
Mm,
time, even though I've been
Mhm.
directing shit for trying to direct and get into these festivals, and
Yeah.
my stuff gets read now, and my stuff gets pitched now, and and fingers crossed, looking like we're gonna make our first feature,
nice.
and so it's
Is
and then
that is that the one that's going to be in the UK
I
or not?
think I think we are part it's getting produced, knock on wood, by a company that's based out of the UK.
Okay.
Or that has a strong foothold or started in the UK. Um, but I can't say anything else about it, which is a
That's
very
understood.
pretentious um
Sure.
no directory
Heads
thing to
will heads
say.
will rule. Yeah.
Yes, but no, it's really, I owe so much to the festival and everyone else who jumped on T. It's like passion project. I've been working in the business for a minute and work on other jobs with everyone else, and then you get this one that you think is great, and be like, "Hey, buddy, can you jump on this thing? Let's have some fun." Um, and something I'm real proud about is like I really believe in doing projects that are a blast, and I take a ton of pride in how I and our team runs a set. And like, no matter the genre, we have a fucking blast on set. Like and there's no
Yeah.
egos, and it's
Mm,
all people who are excellent at their own crafts who are coming in on one goal. But we have a fun time. We only make movies that are a blast to make, and I think that really translates. It's not only selfishly what I want on set, but selfishly for the project, I think
Mhm.
it's what it takes,
yeah.
from at least what I can tell. Um, and I think that stuff translate. And movie making is definitely it's not a one person job. And so
Yeah.
I'm definitely, there's a lot of other people to thank on this one. So I'm grateful for everyone hopping in.
The score in this film really stood out to me, and I realize this interview is bouncing around all over the place, but
No, let it
so I
rip, man. This is how I
apologize.
like it.
But yeah, like this the score of this film, and it says in the credits you worked with. I'm probably going to butcher their last name, Jordan Cayola.
You're right there. Hell yeah.
There
Jordan
I am.
Kiola.
Nice one.
Mhm.
Nice
Phew.
one.
Mhm.
Jordan Kiola. I'm always worried somebody will listen to the podcast one day, realize I've totally butchered everybody's names. But it's an original score on the short
Mhm.
film. I think the music
Mhm.
plays really wonderfully into the film, and film obviously has such a big kind of relationship with music, and it's a really useful tool to
Mhm.
produce emotion within such a short amount of time. Like how did that kind of collaboration come about in terms of actually making an original piece for the film?
Oh, I can't speak highly enough about Jordan. He's so I've done a couple shorts and a bunch of other projects, and to me, when I was younger, I would go with like old school composers, film composers, start from scratch, original score. And then as I've gotten a little more confident, sometimes I'll hear a sound, and this is just for shorts, but I'll reach out to an artist that has their own band or their own separate sound and vibe and energy, and just be like, I think this really fits. And so I was writing T, and I heard Jordan has a solo act called Kiola, singer songwriter, very Kings of Leon sounding, and he is also the lead singer and creator and writer of a band called Mo Loud and the Humble. And so I'd heard one of his solo acts, a song called Alaska, which is incredible. Go check it out. And I was like, I think this is that 90s kind of alt rock, hardcore thing. I think this sound might really work for T. So cold DM'd him and I was like, hey, would you ever compose for film? He's like, I've never done it before. But I was like, I think I can steer us on this. And you get an artist, what artists are so fun to work with, musicians specifically, they're all used to dedicating all their work to the sound of one project or one act that they have. And to compose for film, they get to throw that out the window. So a lot of times they've been psyched. And so for him, we broke it down entirely. Like, what are these characters' arcs? What are their arcs thematically? What are their themes musically? What instrumentals are going to support that? And then the most important impact on it is that I knew, because Chris, we were kind of talking about earlier, like the over romanticized feel to this, I wanted to say lyrics to really point the viewer to what we're trying to say with this thing. And Jordan, because of how talented he is, he writes this first line. He's like, I'm thinking this for this ending cue. And he goes, I just needed to know that somebody knows I'm alive. And I went, oh, that's
Yeah.
it. Fucking exactly it. Like, that's it. You son of a bitch. And so we scored everything out musically and did the whole thing and really helped find the tone of this, which was a total moving target. It shifts gears 8 times, and weaving that tone together is a huge credit to Jordan. And then the hardest thing is an ending, and he's so helpful with that song at the end to really stick this thing in your gut. And he stuck the thesis of the project, is this dude just really at the end of it, he just needed to know someone knows he's alive. And that's a huge credit to him. I did not write that line.
But there's sort of like a childish optimism to the music as well as it being, that sort of serious thing you were talking about. And I think it's, matches the performance. I think if we talk about the performances for a second, it's like sometimes when you watch short films, filmmakers tend to like make these short films sort of enigmatic and like unrevealing until you get to the very end, and suddenly it all makes sense. But there's something about Michael Gandolfini's character that is just so suddenly, like, so immediately arresting about him.
Mm.
And like once things transpire and suddenly he's forced into a position to talk to this girl, Tierney, and probably the least cool meet cute of all time, I'd probably say. Your opinion of the situation just changes. So Michael's character, while potentially dying, rather than ask Tierney politely, he's no rushed for her to help him. He'd rather die before that, in some effort to preserve any last minute coolness he might have. So when these two finally do collide, you're totally just rooting for them. So I guess that was just a super long-winded way, Blake, of asking, how do you find two actors that just seem to gel and the audience wants them to be together?
The old saying, it's, directing is 90% casting. Michael's been a great buddy before T, and our incredible producer, Gabriella Piazza, acted in the Many Saints of Newark movie that he did. And so after they did that movie together, she just linked us up as friends. And so Michael and I were friends before. So we started with a great foundation. of just liking the same shit, going out for dinners and stuff and hanging out. And then we had this project. We had already kind of had a comfortability in place, and he was just so trusting off the bat. Like, he's worked on some really cool projects, way bigger projects than me, way longer form stuff, way deeper dives. And I can't be more grateful for what he gave to it. Like, and then for Olivia, she came in like the old school way: audition, callback, in person. And Michael read with a bunch of other people and her. And he's crawling around off camera reading lines, pretending to be suffocating. And I'm like, I've been Michael's buddy before, but we haven't worked together. So that's a big shift. And I'm like, dude, you gotta save yourself, save your voice. And he's like, no, I'm going at it. Like, I'm working too. I'm prepping, and they should see, like it can help the actor on the other side. And they had such a good chemistry together that it was basically Olivia Nickenen is the actress, and they had such a good chemistry together, and kind of we're having so much fun that I felt like it all played out, and they have great, and not only just developing the characters, which we did a ton of back work on, but also they have great producerial minds. So they were able to like help aid in the grander story and help with some production things, and like fill in those other gaps that are beyond just the actor, and just performance that again support the story.
So you're saying, like, even on the day of filming, you were still open for like ideas or performances to kind of inform the story?
Yeah, always. Best decision in the room wins. Like I always look at it in the beginning, I'm going to have 7 strong opinions on any choice: wardrobe, costume design, art, performance, whatever. But I'm no longer the expert. If you have 8 reasons why this choice should be this way, it's yours, and that's how I like to roll. Like I'm going to come with a lot of heat. Come with more heat. It's yours. You're the player on the field. I'm just the head coach. And so I'm going to prep for my stuff, and we're all going to be ready. But then, it's so collaborative, and the best decision always wins. And same for improv, same for the script's never locked for me. And I think that, I think that's part of the success of T right now.
Yeah.
Or I got really lucky.
But you got to have a limit, right? I mean, if they have really bad instincts, you got to be like, no.
Yes, totally. But you've worked with people enough that like you get them together.
Yeah, you surround yourself with people who are like-minded.
But getting notes and taking suggestions is just as much as the art form than creating the art. I really think like if you're a writer, if you're writing your own stuff, like getting notes and knowing which one to take and how much to listen to and what you really want out of it, and what really the angle there is just as important, if not arguably like equally as important or more important than writing it itself. Like, you got to be able to handle that stuff, and you got to be able to put that filter into place and juggle that with the 90 other things you're juggling when you direct.
Now that you're kind of looking to transition into features, is there anything from your experience making shorts that you're like, I need to bring this to my style going forward? Or I guess in a way, are you looking to kind of change the way you do things?
I think definitely, like, the hustle. Like, just because I have a short that's gotten some exposure and I'm going to get the opportunity to create what looks like my first feature now, is like, I can't forget the shit that got me here and the energy that got me here. Like, I used to say, fuck it, I'm making the next short. I'm getting better. I believe myself enough in this team and this project that I'm making it no matter what. And I'll max out the credit cards and let's go get it. And that energy is what got me here today. And so sitting around and waiting for 80 people to read emails and do it, like, now, no, like, I'm not losing that hustle in it. And I'll go out and shoot my next feature for cheap, and I'll go get into another festival, and then you'll all want on later. Like, that energy, I'm totally not leaving. That's the Jersey in me. And so that for sure. I think the sharp knife for the exposition and the development in shorts, I definitely think shorts got me tighter as a writer and a director. Like, you need people, place, person, stakes, and then kicker. Like, that all, I'm really excited because I think it just sharpened, made my stuff spicier. But also, I'm excited to have some room to breathe and develop storytelling wise. So that's kind of like, shorts got me here, but I'm excited to open up some characters and open up some stuff and not have to overdevelop everyone, because everyone needs to be so overdeveloped and short. And I did think shorts gave me the opportunity to see how audiences react to stuff. And that's hard to do as a filmmaker growing. You don't get the opportunity to get in front of a theater and see how audiences react, what doesn't stick. And the best lessons you learn, I think, are from the stuff that doesn't work. And I made a ton of shorts that don't work. I still think there are things in T that doesn't work all the way. Like, I don't think it's perfect. And that ability to be self-aware and be hard on yourself and look at things super honestly and reflect on how we can be tighter. Shorts are a small enough project that you can do 1 or 2 a year. And so I want to take that into the feature world and try to make it just as sharp, and then grow from the next feature and get better on the next one too.
Is there a part of you that would ever return to this story and extend it? Like there is like a glimmer of like fascination with these characters where like I would like to see another 90 minutes to see where they go.
Would you end the movie here, or would you start it there?
That's not for me to say, but
well, what would you want? You're the EP, man. You're the EP. You're the development executive.
Look, I think it always is good to leave people wanting more. And that's kind of the feeling I felt at the end of it, where I was like, I don't know where this is going to go, but that was kind of half of the fun of it.
I think I would put it at the start though. I think I would play the whole thing out as it is at the start of a film, and then see how that shapes the characters going forward.
Yeah. It's also like start with your best joke, right? Like if I start with that kind of a bang, then I'm like, this scene 2's got to cook. Like, you know, like you gotta keep up with that. I would start it, to me, I don't see T as that romantically charged. Like, to me, it's not really guy gets the girl, they're deep in love. I think it's these two, like, T is a comedy about loneliness. I think it's two people that find each other and find kind of a solve or a reflection of loneliness on their both different ends of that spectrum. And a little less romantically charged. So I would put them together, I think, as platonic friends going through life's tosses and turns and journey, and maybe age them up would be fun. Age them up and have them maybe find each other later in life could be really cool. And kind of boyhood it with some different acts through the years. That would be really fun. To me, my next project is called The Empty Lot feature film, and it's very same world. It's kind of this Jersey, Pennsylvania feel to it. Broke people kind of struggling, but it's definitely the dramedy ensemble, real pain points, and a real love story in there. So I do see T as kind of, it's not an exact, proof of concept for a feature, but it's definitely like heavy world and heavy like genre play of what I want to do in the next one too, on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
you have done a pretty extensive festival run. Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong there, but like, obviously, I think it's quite clear to see how important that festival run has been. But I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that, like getting so many eyes on your film must have been
it's so cool. It's so cool, and to also get to share it with the cast and the crew as well. We did the world premiere at Cannes, which is like I said, the craziest shit ever, and then we came back and we've done, I think, 10 Oscar qualifiers now, and I think we've played in total around 30 festivals and been lucky enough for some awards and some really flattering nominations, and it's been really flattering, and I owe so much of it to these festivals that kind of give me the opportunity to show my work and to blossom off of it. I think we played this week. We played in Belgium and India and gosh, where else? Turkey, and then places over the US and back in France again. So yeah.
Have you played in the UK yet?
No. What's up? What's up, guys? What the hell?
Let us lead the charge.
Go lead the charge for me. I've gotten no Irish love and I've gotten no English love so far by it. I know
Ireland's weird though. Like when I used to live in Ireland, even Irish films where Ireland was the last place they showed them. It just doesn't work.
The
right.
festival, you never expect, if there's anyone listening that is doing the film festival hustle, which I assume they are, never expect it, never rely on it. You can have an amazing film. The programming is such an art form and its own thing, and like you can have a great film that just doesn't fit, or they have something like it, or it doesn't thematically reach what they're reaching with this one, or some other movie has done it before. When I expect it, I never get anything. When I don't expect it, things pop up. So I like, we didn't get into Tribeca, and I thought T was like a good fit for Tribeca. We had Gandolfini, our producers, like, we went direct to programmers. I'd never hit a festival at that tier, and I thought maybe I was ready to make that jump, and we got a no. So I was like, oh, we're not even at that point yet. And I was okay with that. And then of course Cannes happened, so I know nothing. And and then go figure, I'm from New Jersey. This movie feels very New Jersey to me. Everyone's from New Jersey that's made it. People in New Jersey have acted in it. And I haven't gotten into one New Jersey film festival. So tougher than all of France is New Jersey, the state, who hasn't shown us any love. So Ireland, Jersey, UK. Raindance is coming up, so maybe we'll get some love in that one. Is there a favorite Irish film festival? Like, what's the best film festival you like, Kris, in Ireland, if you're familiar?
Well, I didn't really get to experience the festival circuit when I was over there, because I moved over to England when I was about 17. So, and then obviously, like, the love of films matures and everything. But Alex recently attended the BFI, and I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But you had good things to say about that.
Yeah, I was at the BFI London Film Festival, and it was very beneficial for us. Like, we wouldn't be talking to you now without kind of making contacts at that festival. So it was. I mean, that's a great festival, but I guess it's very general in terms of the kind of programming it has to offer. There is an Irish film festival. But I think they hold it in London.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
they showcase.
Is Cork one?
It's that county right in the bottom of the country.
Yeah. Cork is one. Edmonton, or start with an E.
Yeah.
Is there one that starts? Edinburgh.
Oh, the Edinburgh
Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah, Scotland.
Crap. My geography.
So you've lost the Scottish audience very quickly there.
I never had them. They told me no.
I think you're all right though, because I think because you've always got the thing where you can be like, I went to Cannes. It's cool, like that, and that feels like a very prestigious film festival. Like, that feels like a film festival like I couldn't even like generally just touch. Like, it's very prestigious.
Don't say that, Alex.
Oh yes,
I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Let's see.
We start with London. Maybe we'll end up in Cannes.
Are you both filmmakers yourselves?
I've tried. So I studied film at university in Falmouth, which is down in Cornwall. I've attempted making short films.
There you go.
But yeah, I tried to get into the screenwriting world. That was kind of my thing. But I've fallen off that a little bit recently. I need to kind of get back into it.
Saying that, are you? So it's most of the podcast then about film, then, right?
That's where I scratch the itch now. Yeah, that's
good.
where I kind of and it's been great to kind of, it flexes the creative muscle, and we get to talk about things that we really like to do. We always started it as like just me and Kris kind of catching up, because we're no longer in the same location like we used to be. But yeah, now we're trying to, creatively evolve it and do more things. So, like, doing the London Film Festival earlier this year and going with a press pass, which was like a first for us, was kind of a big deal in terms of kind of flexing that kind of.
So cool. I gotta catch you guys. We gotta hit a film festival together, right? If we get in one in the UK, you're coming out. And we'll tear it up. We'll have a good time. But no, dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on. You have amazing questions, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Can I ask you a cheeky question that isn't film related?
Give me 5 cheeky questions that aren't film related. Let it rip. You can ask me anything and I'll answer it.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
So I said I'd never been to New Jersey, but I am. I'm planning a trip to New York next year, and I am a big Kevin Smith fan. And I was like, I want to spend a day in New Jersey and kind of see some of those locations. I guess should I? And B, what else should I do in New Jersey if I'm there for the day?
What time of year?
April.
And you're going to New York?
Going to New York. Yeah. And I
So
just, I was like, it's too close to not, see some of those places.
I would say go to the Jersey Shore, but it's going to be freezing.
Okay.
We're used to that.
I'm a big foodie. It could be food related if you like.
I would go. Okay, so if you're in New York, I would go. Well, one, look up what the location. If you want to see exact locations, look up what they are. They're probably in North Jersey. You should go to like a classic New Jersey diner. Get hungover, and then take a train down hungover to like a classic New Jersey diner. And like go with a bunch of buddies, let it rip, and like get that experience, because that'll be very low key and very fun, and you'll like feel like kind of this world. I think Jersey is magic, man. Like they have incredible Jersey Shore during the summer that is really cool, but the landscape can shift really pleasantly. Like New York and Philadelphia are so close, and you can kind of take the train all the way in. But there's some great colleges there you can see. But also, if you're only doing it for the day, I would go hit a diner or just those locations. But then also, I would just tear up New York City.
Yeah,
I would say
there's a lot to do there as well.
You're gonna have more rah fun. It depends. What are you trying to do?
Oh man, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those.
Alex is a man of authenticity, I think.
Okay.
Okay. What do you
like? He likes to get you like to avoid the tourist traps and get the most out of, especially the food. You're a big food guy.
I would look up. I would definitely spend time in Brooklyn. Okay. I would look up like Alamo Draft House and I would look up, depending on the time of year, what cool film festival is happening in New York also, because then you should really tap in with some New York film people that are there, because there's always a dope festival, and in April there's probably a cool one. It might be Tribeca in April. So maybe try to line up with that. But then, like, dude, it's New York City, man. Like, the best cuisine. Pick a genre of cuisine you want.
I know there's not enough days.
I know, right? Like, definitely get some killer Italian, like U.S. Italian food. Like, get some pizza, and but there's so much good food in New York. And then go out. Like, if you're going with a bunch of buddies, go tear it up. Get blitzed.
I will. I'm going with my fiance, and we always have a good time. But I was going to say, Chris, if you were there as well, I'm sure we would.
Alex always gives me holiday event invites like one day before he goes away. He's like, "Do you want to go to like New York tomorrow or something?" I'm like, dude, I have to plan these things. We'll do something like that.
Make me sound terrible.
I condone this. I condone this behavior, Alex. I'm with it. I support it. I
live in his entourage lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just one of those cities, isn't it? Like I've seen. We've grown up watching America from afar, I guess. So it's just like one of those places that feel like you kind of know through the medium of film. So it's like I just want to go be there now and actually get a better understanding of it. But
enjoy, man.
So this is our big closer, if you like.
Hit me.
On the podcast, we have a series where we work through our blind spots on the Sight and Sound greatest films of all time list. So on that list, you have all the kind of films that are inspiring today's filmmakers, and you're seeing a lot of the influences within their films as we're going through these blind spots, going, "Oh, I know this already." And I just kind of wondered, what are some of your favorite films that have influenced your kind of filmmaking style or writing style and creativity?
Lately, so Silver Linings Playbook has always been up there for me.
Oh, David O. Russell,
David O. Russell, Silver Linings Playbook. Specific for like T and Empty Lot, like Silver Linings Playbook and The Wrestler by Aronofsky. I love that mode. They're also like, that is Jersey, that is Pennsylvania right there. Like that is that world. But then my favorite stuff and what I'm trying to be is I'm going to knock these little indies and get hopefully get some critical love, but I'm scaling up, like my goal is to come for box office and studio work. And I want to be Spielberg, man. My favorite movie is Jaws, and my second one is probably Jurassic Park. Like genres that hit everything. Like I'm not afraid of popcorn And like,
Yeah.
I want movies that you can quote and get TNT reruns for 25 years. Like that's the goal. Like I gotta
live on those royalties, baby.
Hell yeah. I love this shit, but I'm not like, let's make money too. And let's sell tickets. And I gotta learn how to be good. And I gotta learn how to really develop these characters right. And I think I'm just starting, but I got an end goal, and it's, I want to be up there with it. And so I look at these filmmakers like that, and it's nothing but total admiration and motivating and inspiring. And so Spielberg's definitely there.
I think he's such a good filmmaker within that studio system as well, because there's so much like authenticity to his entertainment. And I think I can see that in T, and I hope
Thanks,
I hope your goal works out for you there.
I appreciate it. And thanks so much, fellas. Thanks for having me on, man. It was a blast.
It's been fun.
Thank you
very much, Blake. Thank you for being on the podcast and chatting with us today. It's been
cool.
Really
thanks for the energy, the coffee fueled energy that you brought today.
Whew. Come on now. Anytime. Hit me up anytime, and I'll have more projects. You ever want more stuff to talk about? I'm only an email away to set something up.
We'll hold you to that now.
Please do.
Like,
Please
these
do.
film angle guys are on my back again. I did that one interview.
I'm in. I appreciate it, fellas.
Let us know if T makes it to the UK soon, and we'll make sure to let everybody know. Nice one.
Of course. Take care.
Peace,
Have a good one, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Alex, that was certainly a lot of fun. We talked about, late summer nights, going to New Jersey on future holidays. It was great fun to talk to Blake, wasn't he? He was just so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. He put any kind of nerves we had at ease immediately. You can tell that there's hopefully a very kind of promising future for him, and I hope his feature film gets some legs and gets off the ground. But it was just fun to speak to somebody who is so passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
But also, considering we're just like two random podcast people, he seemed to be quite interested in us as well, which is really nice. And
don't sell yourself short, Alex.
I hope. We have
to trick everybody. That's the thing.
I hope he's. I hope he gets his short shown in the UK soon. Obviously, we got a little sneaky screener of it, so we got to see how good it was. But I would say we both really very much enjoyed it. So
hopefully just keep an eye out for it. If you like the coming of age genre, you love that sort of sun-kissed late summer aesthetic, that 90s edge, and you like a little bit of a laugh, it's a bit of a drama, I think you're going to have fun with this thing.
Definitely. I very much enjoyed it, and I'm glad I've got some tips as to what to do when I'm in New York. And I think Blake was definitely hinting that maybe I should spend more time in New York than New Jersey, but like I said, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, and it just seems like a missed opportunity to not go see all the locations and maybe even his Smodcastle cinema. So,
there you go.
I might do it.
I think Blake just said paint the town red.
Yeah, he did. No, I'm very excited to go. Well, let us know if you've liked this second interview we've done. I've been really enjoying this, and I hope we have some more to come. We may not, but hope you've all enjoyed it as well. We love doing them, and we really enjoyed doing this one. So.
Well, that has been the episode for this week. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating or review. We really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to keep up to date with us, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Film Angle.
We also have a Film Angle playlist, so if you want to listen to what we listen to, you can find that in the show notes. Be sure to catch us next week for more cinematic discussions. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.